Are you in a relationship with someone who acts like they should never be challenged? Don't frustrate them in any way. Don't disagree with them in any way. Hello, I'm Dr. David Hawkins, Director of the Marriage Recovery Center and the Emotional Abuse Institute. And I want to continue on now with the 7 habits of highly narcissistic people. 7 habits of highly narcissistic people. Habit number 3. They act like they shouldn't be challenged. And furthermore, you have no right to challenge them. Now just think about the way I even just said that. They think that they shouldn't be challenged. That's what they think. Now, of course, all of that is the behavior and the attitude of an emotional 6-year-old. It's not the way us adults navigate through the world, but it is the way a highly narcissistic person navigates through the world. It's one of their 7 destructive habits. What happens when you challenge this highly narcissistic person? By the way, this could be in a marriage, it could be in a work relationship, this could be in an extended family situation, it could be in your neighborhood, it could be in your church, it could be anywhere where you're rubbing elbows, where you're really mixing it up with another person. That's where it's going to show up, by the way, when you're really mixing it up in a relationship. It may not show up in a superficial relationship where everyone is acting nicey nice. But in a real situation where there is frustration and there is a real encounter, that's where this incredible immaturity will show up. And how might it show up? Well, oh my goodness. If you challenge this person, they may snap at you. They may be phenomenally dismissive, rolling their eyes, walking away, being incredibly disrespectful. They may get angry, bite your head off. This person doesn't want to be challenged, and they believe they shouldn't be challenged. They have that sense of entitlement, that sense of superiority that I've already talked about, a sense of grandiosity. They are somehow special. Why have they developed in this way? Well, what my clinical experience tells me is that this is profound emotional immaturity, and it has probably been going on for a long time. Growing up is hard to do, and I don't mean that in any kind of flippant way. Growing up is really hard work. It's hard work. It means tolerating being challenged again and again. It means looking at why am I getting my feathers so ruffled? What's going on with them? It takes that kind of introspection and that kind of review. And if this person, this workmate, this boss, this whomever, this spouse, if they are not doing that deep work, then they're not learning. They're not really growing. This emotionally immature person is so thin-skinned, though, so temperamental, and they are so much not embarking on growing that they are navigating through the world with a sign on their forehead saying, "Don't challenge me, don't threaten me, don't ruffle my feathers, tiptoe around me." And we end up tiptoeing around them, don't we? Now I want to talk about how might we respond to this person who is saying to us, "You have no right to challenge me." Well, first of all, we do have a right to challenge them. It takes that kind of emotional strength to show up with this highly narcissistic person and to let them know, oh, we're going to show up. We're going to show up, and we're going to declare what we think and feel. We're not going to, just because they get their feathers ruffled and because they get defensive, doesn't mean that we're going to necessarily back down. So, number one, self-validation. So what is self-validation? Self-validation is where we internally process things and we determine what is it that we think and feel and want. And we rehearse that, and we're very clear. We value ourselves. It's self-validation and self-valuation, isn't it? It is affirming to ourselves what we think and feel, and self-valuation, where we are valuing what we think and feel. And we're saying, man alive, we're saying this to ourselves, I value me. I value what I think and what I feel and what I want. And I'm going to affirm that within myself. Number two, we declare it to those people in our world. I know some are saying, well, wait a minute, it's not safe to do that. People in our world may not like it, but we can still say, you know, I'm going to agree or disagree. I'm going to hold my ground. It comes from self-validation, self-valuation, self-affirmation. I've done those. And so now with the people in my world, I'm going to agree and I'm going to disagree. And I'm going to practice using that muscle. And I'm going to use it consistently. And then step number three, and this one does need to be done rather carefully, but it is to ask someone to attest to what you're saying. How might that sound? It might say, did you understand that I don't agree with you about that action? It's important to me to hear you acknowledge my point of view. Asking someone to acknowledge your point of view. Again, it's just another way of saying, I'm going to show up. I'm going to be here, and I'm not asking you to agree with me. I'm not asking you to capitulate to my point of view, but I'm going to ask you to attend to it and attest to it. All right. Self-validation, self-valuation, self-affirmation, agreeing and disagreeing, and asking for your point of view to be acknowledged. All right. Challenging work, not easy at all, but I'd like you to try it and let me know how it's all working for you.